Well, okay. The water has got into my phone again. Comes and goes. I'm all blurry. But I've just now got off a text conversation with my goddaughter, who has given me additional food for thought, as she often does. And we were chatting about something that she and I have chatted about before. And that is this business of, what is truth, And there's nothing like testing a question like that in a time of war. Wars are really interesting. They're more than interesting at the moment for my goddaughter, because she's in the middle of one. I'm not. There's a war going on in Ethiopia. It's a kind of a hypothetical war to me, because I'm not involved on any sort of personal level, to the extent that I don't want to see her upset, but, I don't care about either side in the war. Well, I do, but no more so than I care about either side in the war that's kind of just finished between Armenia and Azerbaijan, But anyway, this thing that we've talked about before, let's call it truth in war, But truth in war, war is an extreme thing, It's and it's an extreme example of how easily you can see things like this business of what is truth, and what is a higher truth, and can a lie be a truth, and so on and so forth, all that stuff. When there's not a war on, you can't sort of test. Let's say you had a proposition that you wanted to put up, that sometimes to tell a lie is to tell a higher truth. Now, in non-war time, you can't test that easily. People will just railroad you and say, no, a lie is a lie is a lie is a lie, But in wartime, it can be different, I think. So, for example, let's say that you're back in Avaricum, which was a city or a space in ancient Gaul, modern-day France. Don't know exactly where it was. Maybe it was in modern-day Belgium, for all I know. But anyway, Julius Caesar besieged the joint. Now, let's just say that every person in that culture was confined within that siege, within that walled city. So all of the people of Avaricum, of that culture, were hiding from Julius Caesar behind the walls of Avaricum. Okay. And Julius Caesar has got them besieged. Now, in real life, they had called for reinforcements, and their mates were coming. And if their mates had reached Julius Caesar, who was outside the walls of Avaricum, before Julius Caesar had got inside and slaughtered them all, they might have been rescued, because Julius Caesar was a little bit defenseless, actually, on from behind. I've digressed here a little bit at the moment, but a little bit of history is always fun. We'll get back to what my goddaughter's war is all about in a minute. On that occasion, Julius Caesar did something that makes people like him and Napoleon and Alexander and given we're talking about Ethiopia, a general named Tedros II, the first emperor of modern Ethiopia, if you like. Great. These are super generals. Julius Caesar on this occasion, he had besieged Avaricum, so there was a wall there, and he had besieged Avaricum. So the people of Avaricum were, getting hungrier and hungrier, but they were trapped in there. But he couldn't go any further. The Romans were great at siege equipment and all that sort of stuff, so they would have got in there inevitably, and eventually. But he knew that the reinforcements were coming, the mates of the people in Avaricum. And he built a wall behind him. So there was the wall of the city of Avaricum, and then Julius Caesar built another wall and trapped himself in between the two walls, figuring that, look, he was a strategic genius. Who else would think to do that? This sounds like madness, and it was a very dangerous move. But when the reinforcements came, Julius Caesar was able to defend on one front and attack on the other, and he managed to do it. It was the very first time in history, I'm just making this up as I go along, where a single man, Julius Caesar, besieged the entire world. It's just a thought I had. And because essentially, is that what he was doing? He kind of besieged the people of Avaricum, and he besieged everyone on the outside of himself as well. I know that sounds crazy. It's a little bit like when there's a fog over the English Channel. England has this idea that the rest of the world has been isolated by that fog, because the rest of the world has been isolated from England. It's perspective, isn't it? But anyway, getting away from the actual battle of Avaricum. Okay. Now, the people, you are a Gaul, from this mob, in Avaricum, which was a jewel, apparently, of the Gallic world. The world of the whites, the Gaul, as the word Gaul, I think, comes from the word gallo in Greek, I think, which means milk. Just give me a second, will you? Thanks. He doesn't mind. I've been busy with entertaining him all morning. All right. He wants me to... That's my son. He wants me to watch him on the trampoline. But we will... all right. You're in Avaricum. Now, this is similar to the situation that people of Mekelle are finding themselves right now. Because Mekelle is and this is right now in the 21st century, Mekelle, is the capital of Tigray state in Ethiopia. If you don't care about Ethiopia, it doesn't matter where it is, This could be anything. It could be Armenia. It could be anywhere. All right. But if you are Ethiopian, if you are Tigrayan, it matters a hell of a lot. It's personal. If you're sitting in Mekelle right now, the Ethiopian National Forces have you surrounded. Right now, as I sit here, so peacefully and calmly, talking so philosophically in my shed, there are people there that are about to die, which is amazing. If I could imagine that, I'd be a lot more distressed than I am, but I'm not distressed, which is bizarre, isn't it? We humans are very self-centered in a way. But then I sort of start to think, if I'm going to be distressed about that, why would I be more distressed about that than 50 other things going on in the world at the moment? There are other terrible things happening in the world at the moment. There's some, I won't list them, Okay, so, but right now, as I sit here, there are people, there is a city that is surrounded, just like many, many years ago, what would it be? 2060 years ago, or whatever. 2000 and, yeah, it'd be about that, 2070 years ago, there was a city called Avaricum surrounded in the same circumstances. All right, the Julius Caesar figure at the moment is the current Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed Ali, I believe. Now, truth and lies. Now, reports coming out of Ethiopia are sketchy because all communications are down. So you don't know what to believe. It could all be lies from both sides. But the people of Mekelle are depending on the support of the diaspora throughout the world, the Tigrayan diaspora, to try and put pressure on the international community to intervene and stop this Prime Minister of Ethiopia from killing too many people, at least, to stop the attack on Mekelle and on Tigray as a whole. So you're sitting in Mekelle. Now just imagine, I don't think this is true, but just imagine Abby's done nothing yet, hasn't killed anybody, and suddenly you've come across a satellite phone. Someone down the street's got a satellite phone, and you can get a message out to the BBC. Now imagine, now this is probably not true, but truth doesn't matter at the moment. Imagine things are okay, and that the troops surrounding you are actually in contact with you, and you're actually walking up to them and having a chat and all that sort of stuff, and they say, listen, we're just doing all this for political reasons, we're not actually going to attack, it's a great big bluff. Now this is not true, right? But just imagine it was true. Okay, we're thinkers, we can entertain ideas without them having to be true. Now imagine that's the case. You're sitting in Mekelle and everything's quite fine actually, and you're having a coffee, but you know that Abby, this is not, you need Abby ousted, because you know that these guys tomorrow could wipe you out. You get on that satellite phone, you've got 5 minutes. What are you going to say? Now I would say, I would tell lies. But there would be a higher truth involved, because I'd be saving the lives of the people of Mekelle, my friends and loved ones, my people. I would tell lies about how things are in Mekelle. Imagine there's lots of food there, everything's quite fine. I would say we're starting to starve, and I would say we've already had rockets landing. Look, as it turns out, I think there are photos of, we're entertaining something here, thought, all right. But I would actually overstate how bad it is. Now, it's probably bad there already anyway, but I would be overstating that, and that's the point. And why would I be doing that? I would be telling lies, but I would be speaking a higher truth. And this is the thing that my goddaughter and I have touched upon in the past. Now, if I got on that satellite phone, I got across to the BBC, and the Tigrayan diaspora worldwide could hear my voice, and I'm saying all these things. If I was in the Tigrayan diaspora here in Melbourne, and my goddaughter is in that diaspora, I'm not, I would promulgate that information. Even if I suspected it might not be true, I would be on my social media, if I was on social media, and passing that information on as fact. Now, am I being a bad thinker in doing that? Like an unvirtuous non-truth teller, you know what I mean? I think I'm being virtuous, and I'm speaking a greater truth to power. Now, being the power of the international community to intervene and get rid of this bastard, Abiy, who is probably going to kill everybody, or as many people as he can, in Mekelle soon anyway. or at least a lot of people. I know that much. He's a danger. I know that much. He needs to go. I know that much. I stand with Tigray. I know that much. Abiy must go. And I know that much, So I hear this information. I push it out as fact. Oh, it won't be long. I'm on... Oh, hello. Yeah, it won't be long, though. I'll be in a minute. Number 1. The other one was number 3. They all want my attention. What a terrible father I am. Okay. I'd push it out as fact to the international community, which tends to be pretty naive about the nuance of war and all that sort of stuff. In a place like Ethiopia, they don't know what's going on. They're trying and they're trying and they're trying. I know what's going on. Look, I know what I'm passing on to, let's say my local MP here in Australia is probably a lie, but he won't know the difference, or she won't know the difference. I'm passing it on as fact and I'm saying do something. And this, I think, is when the lie can become the truth, because there is a greater truth at play here, and the greater truth is that Abiy must go, or my people may die. And the same goes for the people of Avaricum a long time ago. If they could have got a lie out to their friends who were coming with reinforcements, that might have saved them all, should they have got that lie out, should they have overstated the danger that they were in? Well, it's hard to overstate that danger, but you know what I'm trying to say. Okay. Julius Caesar is just one dangerous person, so it's very hard to overstate the danger of Julius Caesar, But maybe Julius Caesar was making peaceful overtures and all that sort of stuff initially. I don't think he was, but actually he would. He's the sort. Anyway, crafty. I might get a message out saying Julius Caesar's at my door. The siege hasn't happened yet. We're talking to him. He's making deals with us. Send reinforcements now. I might put out a lie that Julius Caesar has already started attacking me. Now that's a lie, but at least the reinforcements will be on the way. Because if I don't put out that lie, they won't come. Until it gets desperate. So the lie becomes the truth. Now, if you tell a lie, that's going to, the consequence of which will be the survival of your people, that's not a lie on one level. It is a lie, but it's a truth. It's a higher truth. A lie may result in in your people not being wiped out, genocide style, either actually or culturally. A lie may do that, and the truth, telling a truth, may be not a truth on a higher level, something like that. Okay. So that's that. And my goddaughter has also been texting me, because there's a lot of... The funny thing about social media is, and, I get screenshots of people saying things on social media. In non-war time, there's a kind of philosophical, logical debate going on. You're right, you're wrong, blah, 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 because I've got this evidence and you've got that evidence and all that sort of stuff. When wartime comes along, as it has come along in Ethiopia at the moment, many of us who are not involved in the war keep having that conversation. We keep talking like that, We keep going like that, just dispassionately keep talking about, transitions of power are always bloody and all that sort of stuff in a place like Ethiopia, which has weak institutions and all that sort of stuff. And when you think about the last 150 years and blah blah blah. Okay, all right, I'll take up. But in wartime, that's not the time for that. I'll finish with that. I do have to go. There's a time and a place for everything, and sometimes, in a war, in the middle of a war, getting involved in those conversations is the wrong time and place for that. That's what I think. I've got to go.